Did you know that there are financial habits that are literally destroying your wealth, and you don't even realize it? Imagine waking up 10 years from now and realizing that everything you've worked for was wasted due to simple and avoidable mistakes. In today's video, we're going to reveal 5 financial habits that are keeping you away from financial freedom. And the worst part, you're probably making some of them right now. And the best part is, I'll show you how to fix each one of them in a practical and immediate way. Stay with me until the end, because if you follow these tips, you could change the course of your financial life forever. Let's get started. The financial reality of many people is a direct reflection of the daily habits they adopt without thinking. And often, these habits aren't big failures, but small choices that, over time, end up compromising your entire financial future. Did you know that, without realizing it, you're creating a path of debt and insecurity, all because of actions that seem harmless at first? What happens is that, without proper planning, these mistakes accumulate and turn into obstacles that keep pushing you further away from the financial freedom you dream of. In this video, we're going to identify these 5 habits and show you how to fix them immediately, so you can start building a solid and secure future. What you'll learn here today could be the key to transforming your financial life, avoiding the mistakes that are stopping you from achieving the success you deserve. So, get ready to take the first step towards a new financial reality. Let's eliminate these destructive habits and take control of your prosperity together. Before we dive into these 5 financial habits that might be sabotaging your wealth, if you're not subscribed to the channel yet, go ahead and subscribe now and activate the notifications. That way, you won't miss any important tips to transform your finances. And, of course, you'll always stay up to date with practical strategies to achieve your financial goals. Let's continue with the video. This is the first mistake and probably the most obvious, but many of us make it without realizing. Spending more than we earn can be the result of many factors. Social pressure to consume, the feeling of temporary pleasure when acquiring something new, or even the lack of financial planning. The problem is that, although it seems like an instant solution, it creates a false sense of security and comfort, but in the long run, it turns into a financial poison. When you spend more than you earn, you're basically living in the future, compromising your financial stability tomorrow to satisfy immediate desires. And this leads to a spiral of debt and growing interest. The solution to this is simple, but it requires discipline. Start by creating a monthly budget and, more importantly, stick to it strictly. If you find that you're consistently exceeding what you earn, it's time to cut unnecessary expenses and focus on living within your means. This could mean cutting back on expensive restaurants, entertainment, or even shifting to a simpler lifestyle. The key is to make conscious decisions and realize that tomorrow's financial comfort depends on today's choices. Now, speaking of cutting costs and living within your budget, a key step is to ensure that you have a solid financial foundation. And that brings us to the second mistake. Imagine suddenly losing your job or facing an unexpected health issue. How would you handle it? If your answer is to resort to loans, credit cards, or even asking for help from family members, you might be putting your financial stability at risk. Not having an emergency fund is a fatal mistake many people make, and it's one of the main reasons they find themselves in financial trouble. The lack of an emergency fund leaves you vulnerable, as you end up relying on quick solutions, which are often expensive, such as personal loans or long-term credit, which only increase your debt and make it harder to recover financially. The good news is that you can fix this immediately. The goal is to have at least 3 to 6 months of your monthly expenses saved in an emergency fund. It doesn't need to be a fortune, but starting with small monthly deposits can make all the difference. Building this fund doesn't have to be difficult. You can start with whatever you can, even if it's just $50 a month, and over time, this fund will grow. The important thing is to start as soon as possible. And by having this fund, you'll be able to face any emergency without jeopardizing your financial future. Now that we've talked about being prepared for emergencies, let's discuss a way to ensure you have money for the future. Have you heard of compound interest? It's often referred to as the eighth wonder of the world, and for good reason. The concept of compound interest is simple. It's the process where the interest on your investment begins to generate more interest, creating an exponential growth effect over time. The problem is that many people either don't understand or ignore this power and end up postponing investing as early as possible. This can be one of the biggest barriers to achieving financial freedom. By not investing your money, you're missing out on one of the greatest advantages in wealth building. When you start investing early, even with small amounts, compound interest can do wonders for your wallet. Imagine investing $100 a month with an 8% return per year. After 30 years, that amount can grow significantly, much more than if you just left the money sitting in your checking account. The good news is that you don't need to be a finance expert to start investing. There are simple investment options, such as index funds, that are low risk and offer a good return over time. The key is to start as early as possible. Even if you don't have much to invest yet, the effect of compound interest will help you reach your financial goals much faster than if you wait until you have a large sum of money. Now, to make sure you don't get lost in debt, it's essential to understand the role of credit and how it can be both an ally and an enemy. Let's talk about that next. Using credit as an extension of your income is a common mistake many people make, especially in a society where consumption is constantly encouraged. The feeling of being able to buy whatever you want now and pay later can be tempting, but it's a dangerous financial mistake. Constantly relying on credit, whether it's through credit cards or loans, can lead to a massive debt snowball that's hard to control. The problem with credit is that the interest is high, and you often end up paying much more for something than you would if you had the money up front. Moreover, when you're always using credit, you lose control over your finances and often don't realize how much you're in debt until it's too late. The solution is to stop using credit impulsively. If possible, pay off your credit card debt as quickly as possible and try to use credit only when absolutely necessary. An important tip is to try to pay off your credit card bills in full every month. This will help you avoid paying interest, which can add up quickly and compromise your budget. Now, after cutting expenses and stopping the accumulation of debt, you'll need a plan to ensure you're on the right path for the future. That brings us to the last mistake. Many people focus only on their current financial needs and end up neglecting the future. If you don't have a long-term financial plan, it's like navigating without a map. You might manage day to day, but without a structured plan, it will be hard to reach your financial goals, such as retirement, buying a home, or even setting up a fund for your children's education. The solution here is simple, but it requires clear action. Start by defining your financial goals. What do you want to achieve in 5, 10, or 20 years? Make a detailed plan and create a budget that supports those goals. The earlier you start planning, the better prepared you'll be for the future. And by having a well-structured financial plan, you'll have more confidence in your decisions, knowing you're in control of your financial life. If you've been enjoying the content so far and you've realized the impact of these habits on your financial life, don't forget to leave a like. It helps me bring more tips and strategies that can transform your journey to financial freedom. Now that you know the 5 financial habits that might be destroying your wealth and how to correct them, it's time to take action and start changing your financial reality. Remember, every step counts, and what you do today can secure a much more prosperous future. If you want to keep learning more about improving your financial health and reaching your goals, make sure to check out the other videos on the channel. Click on the videos that are appearing on the screen right now and get even more valuable tips to transform your financial life. See you there.